What's up, gang? Like many other LEGO fans, I constantly find myself browsing Mercari or eBay, looking for good deals, hunting down that new ship or that next project that I want to make. But the other day, when I was browsing around, I struck gold. I couldn't believe my eyes. Someone was selling a Star Wars ship, and it was no normal Star Wars ship. It was a modified Star Wars ship. So you know I had to jump on it, and that's what we're going to take a look at today. Today we're buying some modified Legos on Mercari, and we're going to compare the ship we get to the exact same ship that I had and modified many years ago. And before we dive into the ship we got, if you guys enjoyed this video and you want a part 2, because I already have a part 2 coming, make sure you drop a like below and you're subscribed so you don't miss out on it. It finally arrived, so now we can take a look at this new modified ship. So here we have it. It does look like a few things broke off here or there, but that was completely expected for something getting shipped in the assembled form. So I'm more than okay trying to piece this together as best as I can. The cockpit looks like it took a real mean hit, but everything else seems to be mostly intact. We'll see how well that goes. So it may or may not be a little bit more shattered than I thought, but it might not be all bad. I think with the small bits and pieces that are still together and the pictures that I have, I'll be able to piece it together just like he sent it. I've referenced the photos once or twice now, but overall I'm getting it, and so far with what I see, I'm really happy. Alrighty guys, so we have it mostly assembled. The last thing we have to do is just put on the wings. And now we have the whole craft assembled, and I gotta say, this thing looks absolutely amazing. And it does seem I have 3 leftover pieces. Throughout this video, if you guys spot a point where you think I should have put these and completely missed it when putting it back together, let me know down below. But I couldn't really figure out where the spot is. Maybe we'll figure it out during the video. So this ship here appears to be a mod of 75221, the Imperial Landing Craft. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say this came out in 2018 or 2019, maybe sometime around Solo. And if you purchased this set in the past or have it right now and you've played with it before, you notice many changes that the original builder made. And before we dive into it, let me just say the Sentinel class shuttle, which is the model of this ship in the Star Wars universe, is one of my favorite ships of all time. This ship is easily my top 5 of ships that I would use as my home base and my main vehicle and main transport if I was in the Star Wars universe. So going over the ship, we'll go ahead and start up front. It looks like they modified and bulked up this cockpit quite a bit. I gotta say guys, this feels a little weird reviewing somebody else's mods, because typically I did all the mods so I know where to start and end. But with this, I have no idea what the goal was. I have no idea what they truly did or didn't do to the ship. So all this is as new to me as it is to you guys. But up front, it looks like the cockpit has been bulked up quite a bit, and it looks a whole lot sleeker and a lot meaner now too. As well as on the inside, it looks like they gave the pilot a little bit more controls than the original set might have provided. You have the 2 control panels down here, as well as 1 control panel hanging off the canopy up top. You guys might be able to see it in there right now. I don't know, it's really dark, but you can see it through that canopy. And on either side of the cockpit, they kept the stud shooters from the original set, but they did add some extra plating to hide the gap in between this top and bottom shell for the interior space. And then on the underside of the cockpit, there's actually a new door here for troops to load in and out of the ship. This is actually accurate to the ship in universe. It does have its main loading door on the front here. The LEGO set didn't have this, and it's a mod that I wanted to do on my craft as well, but we'll see that later. And while we're on the underside of the ship, those of you guys that have this set will notice that there's no landing gear sticking out. And that's because the original builder was talented enough to make retractable landing gear on the inside here. When folded out, it looks almost identical to the original set. And it sits really well, allowing you to access the interior space and make it seem like minifigures are walking up a ramp to get in. But this looks absolutely amazing, and it sits real sleek when you tuck them all back up into the craft. It's so sleek that I didn't even know they were there until I began talking about this main front door here. Other than that though, there's not really much else to go over on the underside of the craft. As we move down the spine here, we already covered that little bit of front cover up there. It doesn't look like too much tiling has changed up here, but maybe 1 or 2 pieces were. I can't confirm how different this top fin is from the original set, but it looks really good whether it's from the original set or the original builder of this mod. But then just behind the top fin, we get to the rear engines and the wings on this set, and this was a big mod that the original builder and many other LEGO builders did to their set. The Sentinel class shuttle in universe does have these angled wings going at 2 different angles. The original set just had them sticking straight out no matter what angle you put them at, when they should have had that little extra angle that the modder worked in. And now that I'm messing with it, I realize I might have put the wings on the wrong way because it can't go all the way down. But the original set didn't capture the accuracy in the wings, so I'm happy that the modder changed that, and I think they did it in a great way. So that pretty much covers everything that the modder did to the Imperial landing craft on the outside. Now we can move inside. So folding open these clamshells like you do on the original set, you get access to the interior space, and the modder has dramatically increased it. We're on the left side of the ship here, but it is symmetrical on both sides. On the right side of the left side of the ship, you can see we have these long bars connecting to the main structure of the entire ship. And that's how the original set had each of these 4 little areas to each side. But it looks like the original builder went ahead and removed these pieces on the left side here. So you have a whole lot more space and a whole lot more freedom to do whatever you want over here. And then down the middle, if you guys remember, this set came with a nifty little ramp that you could slide out of either side. And while it was very cool, it did take up a lot of that middle space, so now it looks like you could sit or maybe even stand minifigures down the middle. But despite the ramp being gone, you still do have the doors on the side, so the minifigures can go in through the front or the side like they could on the original set. It appears that the original builder did a really big rework of the internal structure of this ship. It used to have a beam going down the middle as well to help reinforce it. But it looks like the original builder wanted to remove that for presumably more minifigure space or more storage. But it looks absolutely amazing. I think the original builder killed it. There's so much more space and a whole lot more freedom to do what you want on the inside of this craft. We can go ahead and fold that back down, and now we'll move to the other side. And then here it is on the other side. Like I said, it's symmetrical, so you're not going to find anything different here. Overall though, whoever did these mods absolutely killed it. I am in love with this craft, and I might even like it more than the ones that I did to my own ship. Speaking of, let's go ahead and bring that one in here, and let's compare what both of us modders did. So the first difference you guys will notice is that my set is yellow, or at least slightly yellow. It looks like I didn't take care of it, and I don't remember storing it in the sun for a long while, but it looks like I did, and that's a little bit unfortunate. But despite that, I still want to go over a few of the differences that we have on this ship. Up front, you can see the cockpit of the Mercari build is a whole lot more smooth. It has more tiles and not as many studs showing like mine does. As well, I think the Mercari build has better details and greebling on the inside, better controls. I just used some miscellaneous cheese slopes and tiles that I had laying around. And even though you guys can't see it, I did mention that there was a control panel on the top of this front canopy. I went ahead and put that exact same one on my ship as well. And then you can see on either sides of both cockpits, we did retain those stud shooters from the original set. Now we're taking a look at the sides of the cockpits, and you can see we both took a different approach on how to handle that big gap that the original set had. You can see the Mercari build went the route of covering it up and making it look smooth with the tile piece. I went the route of turning it into a weapon, and I added 2 red translucent cones right here, so there's 2 blaster cannons on either side now. And now we have the underside of both ships. You can see mine retains the original landing gear that can't be folded into the craft. It's always sticking out and getting in the way. And the Mercari builder improved upon the design and added some retractable landing gear. And then as well towards the front, you can see the Mercari builder was able to successfully integrate a front hatch. That was a mod that I wanted to do to my ship, but you can see I never really got around to it. And it looks like the Mercari builder was much more successful than I would have been anyways. Back up top, we can take a look at both interior spaces. So we already went over the increased interior space of the Mercari build. Now let's take a look at mine. And my interior space is essentially unmodded from the original set. I have 2 R2 droids doing a fun little dance. But overall, I didn't really mess with the interior on this set. I was a little bit scared to modify this set. This was before I was too heavy into modding. This was before I ever even made an alternate build, and this was still just me adding on extra pieces playing. I never really had the intent of modifying, or I never really thought of modifying as a thing I was doing. But you can see I really didn't touch the interior on this ship. I was actually a little bit scared. I didn't really have any ideas how to remove that middle bar and clear that out for more minifigure space. Though due to me not having that extra minifigure space, I can show you that little bridge that came with the original set. It folds out of either side, and it works as a little loading ramp to the interior space. And now we're at the rear of the ship, and this is where I did the main bulk of my mods. Back when I got this set, like we already covered, the wings weren't accurate at all. They just sat out straight at one angle. So just like the Mercari builder, I sought to fix that, and my method is admittedly a lot uglier, and it doesn't look as clean from the outside. You guys can see I went the route of using Technic arms and some loose Technic connections on the bottom. And also in an attempt to look accurate to the ship in universe, I added 2 cannons on either wings. These used to have the back end of flickfire missiles sticking out, so the blasters were longer, but they constantly got knocked off by the main interior cabin, so I went ahead and removed them. So now both wings just have these short little blaster cannons on either side. And the last bit of mods that I did was to move the engine compartment further down and more level with the rest of the interior space. You can see I didn't get it as low as I wanted to, but I did actually lower it from the original set just a little bit. And in doing so, I have a whole lot of extra bricks up top to help smooth it out and make it look proper. And then on the bottom side, because I didn't really have pieces to cover up this backside, I added a rear turret to loosely cover it up. And then just a few bar pieces on either side for a little bit of greebling. So that pretty much covers everything that I did to the Imperial landing craft a few years ago. So after comparing it to the Mercari builder, you guys might ask, do I even like my original craft? And of course I do. It's something that I made with my own 2 hands, and the creativity and all the fun that I had with it way back when, I wouldn't trade that in for anything or any other modded set. However, my own personal standards for my mods and how I build Lego have risen, and this ship and the mods that I did to it definitely wouldn't pass my standards nowadays, so maybe it'll be a project revisited in the future. This was a super fun video to make, and I didn't even buy the Mercari build with the intent to make a video on it. Like I've mentioned many times previously, I absolutely love this ship and universe. So as soon as I saw the listing, as well as all the mods on top of that, I had to have it. It was calling to me and I needed it. It's really interesting to have somebody else's modified craft in my hands. One of the biggest parts of modifying is the creativity and the thought process behind adding your mods. And it really threw me off when I was trying to review this how I didn't know what each mod was for or what the goal was. I don't know if the original modder bought this Lego set, thought it was horrible, and sought to fix it, or if they got the Lego set and just added on a few things that they liked. And that to me is one of the more interesting parts about having somebody else's creation in my hands. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I certainly had a whole lot of fun making it, and I'm definitely on the lookout for more modified Lego Star Wars in the future. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like down below and let me know if you want to see a part 2. Like I said, it's already coming, so let me know if you really want to see a part 3 or 4. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on those. And if you guys happen to have any modified Lego Star Wars sets that you're interested in selling, go ahead and let me know down below and we could talk. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Be on the lookout for part 2, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace, fellas.